Alright, and thank you for joining my practice. We're working into the joints today, hip joints, shoulder joints. We'll work into the wrists as well. It should be a pretty steady flow. We won't be working too hard, just focusing more so on the joint movements. If you want to join me in the back of the mat, we'll start with a breath work technique and go from there. Centering yourself in your seated position. Begin to focus intentionally upon the breath. Begin to draw out the exhales. Deepen the inhales, expand the belly as you do so. Extending through the spine, reach tall through the crown of the head. We'll begin by breathing in for 4, then exhaling for 8. Inhale. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, and 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhaling. 2, 3, and 4. Exhaling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhaling. 3 and 4. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Inhaling, holding at the top. Keep breath retained. Feel the mind expand. And exhale, coming back to natural breathing. Reach your hands to the side, palms flip to the sky. Potentially move to hero's pose where you're sitting on the ankles if it feels best for you, or you can stay as you are. Begin to create circles with the fingertips as they point outwards. Maintain a sense of breath control. Deepening inhales, extending exhales. Finding a sense of meditation today. Focus on a singular point and maybe a thought, an aspect you'd like to bring into the practice. Move ever so slowly, drawing those circles with the fingertips larger and larger as they increase. Begin to rotate the direction of the circle. Really extend the hands backwards, opening up the chest and shoulders. Maintaining consistent breath. And then allow the circles to begin to minimize. Moving ever so slowly. Bringing hands back to heart center. Take a breath. Maintain that thought, that intention for the practice. Then we're going to begin to open our palms out in front of us and begin to rotate the fingertips in circular motion. Rolling out the wrists. You can go as slow as you like here, being very intentional and thoughtful through each movement. Switching directions of the circle. Moving on, we come into a plank position. Maybe take a second to roll out the ankles. Extend one leg and then the other. Take your time coming into plank. Maybe your knees need a little bit more movement before finding the position. Once you find the plank pose, find the strength through the palm of the hands, the activation in the shoulders, press through the heels, extend through the crown of the head. Remember to stay steady with the breath. We'll work a gentle fire breathing technique if you want to go a little further with this practice. You can always drop the knees. We'll inhale and exhale fairly rapidly, ideally moving the belly up and down, activating the core as we do so. Begin whenever. You can begin to slow down the breath. Moving on, we'll come into tabletop position. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Maybe roll through those shoulder blades. As the chest drops down, we move the shoulders around in circular motion, working that inner joint, giving the core a rest. You can switch direction of the circle. Remember to broaden the circle as much as you can. If there's any pain, back off of it and slow down. Work into what feels right for you. As we switch from the fire breathing technique back to the normal breath, be conscious of how it flows. Be connected with that intention of presence. Coming into neutral tabletop, we're going to begin to lift the right knee up off the mat, and let's begin to create circles with that right knee, opening it up out to the side, then bringing it in before bringing it back and around. Begin to work into that hip joint area. It's an awkward movement. It could take a lot of focus, and that focus can draw you away from presence and the breath. Remember to come back to center. The shoulders should remain parallel. You really don't want to be moving much, but just that knee in a circular motion, working into the hip. Let's switch directions of that circle. Maybe closing the eyes, maintaining an inner focus. There's still a long line through the spine and out of the crown. Alright, let's extend the right leg back. Dropping right foot down, we come into assisted side plank. Reaching right hand up and overhead. Extend long through the right leg. If you want to take this a little further, we could begin to lift the left knee up off the mat, activating that side core. Remember to stay consistent with breath. Really activating that left shoulder blade as we press through the palm of the hand. You want strength in that left arm. And maybe you could begin to create circles with that right arm. You could always drop that left knee down. Closing off, we drop right palm to the mat. Left leg extends back, find ourselves in plank pose. Lower down chaturanga. Inhaling upward facing dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Lift hips high. And then find yourself holding this position for a moment. Connect with the breath. Recognize that intention you had at the beginning of the practice. Find your center here. Come back to this place of being. Drop knees down, coming into tabletop position. You can begin to sit upon the heels. Let's just shake out the wrists for a moment. Take a break from that upper body. We will begin to move into the other side, doing the same as we just did. So mentally preparing for that. Remember, there's two sides of the same coin. Consider which one you are intentionally observing. Coming back, tabletop position. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Begin to curl the left knee up off mat. Begin to create circular motions with the left side. As we begin to do this, you might find it a little irritating to be doing something so mundane, something that is very simple in nature. But coming back to that idea of looking at a coin that has two sides, you can consider one thing in multiple aspects. Whether it be beneficial to you or boring to you. There is such great benefit into working into the joints, even though it may seem simple. It is actually that which brings forth more life than sometimes a lot of other poses or a lot of other practices. It is this slow repetition that brings about more meaning. Begin to switch directions of the circle. Connecting with the breath. Notice the movement. Coming back to stillness, we reach left leg out long. Drop left foot down, coming into side plank on the right side. Remember, you could always hold the assisted side plank or potentially begin to lift right knee up off mat, activating the side core. Remember, you want strength and activation in the right arm, in the right shoulder, and pressing strong and firm in the right palm. So the right knee might draw towards the left side of the mat, begin to draw it back towards the right side. If you desire, you can begin to create circular motion with that right arm, or left arm, I mean. Almost done. Focus on the breath. Bring left hand down, drop right knee. Coming back into neutral tabletop. Let's drop the belly button, lift the chin and chest. Do a few cat-cows just to roll through the spine. This will be a short practice. We'll be finishing up fairly soon here. Moving on, let's come into downward facing dog. Hold for a moment, reach hips high. Connecting with the breath, we stay in downward facing dog. Recalling our intention or focus upon the mind. It's really in these meditative practices, the ones where there's a lot of stillness and a lot of slow movement, we find ourselves able to connect more deeply in thought. Sometimes it is more beneficial to clear out the mind than work the body. Maybe such a simple thing, a mundane thing, however, may lead you to something that is far more beneficial than you understand. Let's walk the feet towards the center of the mat. Bring the hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend knees, press through feet, we reach to the sky. Exhale, palms to heart center. Coming into a wide-legged stance, we bring our feet to point towards the right side of the mat. You want them about hands distance apart as we extend our arms out into a T. Let's flip the heels in, point the toes out, gently bend the knees. And we're going to begin to rotate the wrists in a circular motion. As we do so, we begin to draw the hands closer towards the heart. As they reach heart center, we begin to rotate externally with the circles as the hands begin to extend out to our sides. Changing direction of the circles, begin to move them in. You may move as fast or as slow as you like. Just remember that the forearms will begin to burn the more movement you create. Maybe drop the hips lower, activating the quads. It's that dual activation of forearms and quads. One may draw the attention, pulling it away from the other. Perhaps if the forearms start firing up a little much, drop the hips lower. If the hips or the thighs begin to hurt a little bit too much, maybe begin to move the wrists a little faster. Creating balance in pain. Remember, focus upon the breath. Acknowledge that intention within the practice. Almost done. Let's extend our hands out one last time to a T. Then begin to straighten through the legs. Turning our toes to face left side. Coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. It should be a gentle, easy triangle. You may put the hand upon the shin. Just allow yourself not to put too much weight upon that leg, lest you hyperextend that left knee. Find extension through the crown. We will begin to wind down the practice now. So find a comfort in this triangle posture. An ease, a tranquility of being here. Then bend left knee, coming into reverse warrior. We flip left palm to the sky. Straighten out left leg, we switch over right side. Left toes face like a 45-degree angle towards the left side of the mat. As we hinge from right hip, right hand comes down, Trikonasana on the other side. Steady that focus. Maintain breath awareness. Finding contentment in the simplicity. Bending right knee, coming up, flipping right palm towards sky, reversing warrior. Then straighten out the right leg, toes point towards the side of the mat. Inhale, palms to heart center. We'll come into a forward fold just for a moment. Allow those hips to hinge the torso forward. Might be a little bit easier this time around than potentially another after we have warmed up those hip joints. And come into a gentle flat back. Fold forward one more time through the legs, maintaining breath awareness. Then we come up, pressing through the feet, straight back, long spine, reach the sky. Exhale, palm. You can heel toe the feet in. We're going to step to the top of the mat, find ourselves in a mountain pose. Connect with that breath one last time, really slowing down the movement of the mind, allowing that intention to sink deeply within you. Extending inhales and extending the exhales. We can begin to lower the hips down towards the mat. Maybe plant the hands behind, broaden the shoulders, and just allow the knees maybe to window wiper. The knees to just drop to one side. Remember to maintain length through the spine, then allow the knees to drop over to the other. Maybe go back and forth a few times there. Maintaining length through the spine. Recognize we still are working into those hips just ever so subtly here. Keep the shoulders out of the neck. The chest expanded. The crown reaching high. Coming back to neutral, extend the hands out, reach forward to the front of the mat, then begin to roll down onto the spine, coming into a final corpse pose to finish off the practice. Maybe bringing to mind once more that intention you had at the start. Considering the thoughts that may have come up during the practice in such stillness, in such slow movements. Allow them to settle here and now. Releasing control of the breath. Allow yourself to clear the slate of what was. Feel free to stay as long as you like, or you can join me by bringing the knees to a fold. Begin to roll up into a seat to close off the practice. Perhaps considering the duality of something so simple and potent with something that can be boring or mundane. The perspective is up to you to decide which you would like to observe it from. Thank you for taking time to join me today in this practice. And I wish you well. Namaste.